you for listening to the Jack Vale Show with Madysyn. And today we wanted to talk about something that I get asked all the time, which is about social media. And it's kind of a really loaded question because it's all about, how do you grow a social media following? How do you do what you do? Can you give me tips or advice or, whatever? The biggest thing that we're going to talk about right now for a little while is how to grow a social media. And I think I'm going to try to not say the stereotypical things that people always say. Mm-hmm. Consistency is key.
It is, though. There are obvious things that you have to do that everyone's going to tell you.
Yeah. Do you think do you feel like is it a set of different things in what I do versus music?
Me?
Yeah. Or is it all basically the same?
I really don't think so. I think you could take any niche.
Niche? Wait, niche? It's niche.
Niche.
No, it's a niche.
It's not a niche.
100% it's niche.
That sounds so silly.
Maddie?
My niche. Okay.
Oh, really? Okay, but it is niche.
Okay.
It might sound silly to you, but it's definitely niche.
As I was saying, no matter your niche, you have to do really the same things. It's the same strategy. Social media is social media. And whatever, if you're a chef and you want to make cooking videos or cleaning or music or dancing, anything, you just have to, I think, follow the same steps.
I appreciate what you're saying and I'm listening to you, but I think we should Google niche. We really need to find out what this is. Here we go.
It's probably, okay.
Here we go.
Niche.
Ah.
Haha. Niche. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it even says, oh my gosh, Niche, niche.
Yeah, you got to expand your vocabulary a little bit and read.
Really?
Ever read a book?
Ever read a book? You're being a jerk. Wow. So, okay. It even says, it spells it. It sounds like Neesh. Okay. So for those of you who were wondering.
I don't think anyone was wondering.
This is one of the rare times that I was wrong. Everybody was wondering because everybody thought that it was niche. Just like I did until you said it in a goofy way and discovered that you've been right.
But I was, correct. Thank you.
I've actually heard a lot of people say niche. Oh, look, a very common question that people ask the Google is niche pronounced niche or niche?
Yeah.
And
smart people don't have to look that up.
Oh, really? Okay. Anyway, totally got off track. But yeah, you're right. I mean, there's some basic strategies to follow and that kind of apply no matter what. Consistency is one of those things. I would say, tell me what you think, but in my opinion, I'm just going to start with saying one of the things to stay away from.
Okay.
Because I get emails all the time asking to sign up for some service that will give you followers and views and all this kind of stuff. And it could be anywhere from, I don't know, $20 to $1,000. They have all these different plans and stuff.
Yeah.
It's all garbage. Do you agree?
Yeah.
It's all garbage. It's all manufactured crap. So
it is. Yeah. And a lot of it, they're just spitting out fake followers to give you and just things like that.
Yeah. And it happens all the time. There's scam websites trying to make money. And it really, what it does is the best way to do it is organically. You want to organically grow. I have actually seen, now I'll give you an example on my YouTube page. Okay. On my YouTube channel, I have roughly 1.6 million subscribers. Mm-hmm. You would never know that because it doesn't correlate to the amount of views, but that's because I've never been consistent. So I want to say I know a lot about it and I can give advice to people. I've never applied this advice totally to my own life and career because I've had so many different things going on all the time, different projects, and I've just not been able to stick to a schedule, which is a big mistake on my part, and I fully admit that.
Yeah.
So I just want to be totally transparent.
Yeah. And then it is more than just consistency as well, because I have seen people who are super consistent and do it, and then they don't see any results either.
Absolutely. The number one thing I would say is get on some kind of a schedule.
Yeah.
If it's, I don't care if it's, even if it's bi-weekly, even if it's like every other Monday or
Yeah, because
Tuesday.
your followers want, even if it's subconscious, like they'll be scrolling and then they'll like look to see like, oh, it's this day. They probably posted, or like, you know,
Yeah.
people want to follow you to see
Yeah.
your stuff.
Yeah. They sign up for the notifications. They might even put it in their calendar. Who knows?
Yeah,
This day.
some people
this time.
probably do that.
Yeah, they probably do. Like
Yeah.
the fanatical fans and stuff like that. But yeah, the thing that has always discouraged me about social media is keeping up with all of it. Because not only are there so many platforms, every platform has all these different, like 1,000 different ways to post. So the one thing that I have learned, one of the big things that I've learned is to utilize all that they have to offer.
Yeah.
And everybody starts out with one. YouTube, when YouTube was created, you were just uploading videos. That was the idea. Now you got YouTube Shorts. You got this whole idea that when you post long videos, it does this. When you post shorter videos.
Do they have YouTube stories?
They got YouTube stories. Yeah, they got stories now.
TikTok does stories now too.
Yeah, TikTok has stories. Instagram's always had. So
Yeah.
you've got all these platforms, and then you have to take all the platforms, and then you got to go, what am I going to post here? Because it's not really a great thing to post all of the same stuff
On
everywhere,
every-
and that's it. Because if you're not singled out on one platform, then you're going to have a problem somewhere else. So you
Yeah.
want to kind of try to be versatile and all of that stuff. But regardless of your method, I would say you definitely want to be consistent.
Yes.
You have to be consistent, and you can't get discouraged because there's so much. It can take a long time. Jasmine, who if she's downstairs, I'm going to call her up here for a little bit so she could kind of even talk to this. She gets really, really excited because she started a YouTube channel, and it started out with just a few people.
Yeah.
And she got her like 100th subscriber on YouTube. She was stoked. She did it all on YouTube Shorts because YouTube Shorts is a big deal now.
Right.
That's what it's all about, actually.
Yeah.
Short videos. Facebook is, you got a bunch of stuff going on because you do a Facebook post. You could do a picture. You could do just a post that's like heartfelt or whatever. You do videos on your timeline. Then you got reels. Then you got stories. Should your reels be different than your stories?
I think so. Yeah.
I still don't really understand what the difference is.
The difference?
Yeah. I mean, I know the difference, but I don't understand the point of reels.
Well, I feel like
versus
stories are, for me at least, I just use it to like update on like my day. Like little updates throughout the day on my
Really?
story, and then
That's what you
reels
do?
are like actually like entertaining videos that people want to like sit and watch.
Really? Is that what?
Yeah.
Is that kind of how everybody does it?
I think so. That's at least like I think same goes for like Instagram and TikTok, and I don't know about YouTube. I never go on YouTube.
You never go on YouTube?
Not really, unless there's
Really?
like a specific video or like person I want to watch.
What's your go-to platform where you want to like just suppose you want to open up your phone and you want to just browse videos?
TikTok.
TikTok. I don't get it.
You don't get it?
No.
Why?
Well, because TikTok, I like to search for things.
Okay.
And TikTok, I have no idea
No, it just
what
spits
it's
it
going to
out to
show.
you.
Yeah, whatever it wants
But
me
you
to
have
see.
to watch and see what you like, and then it'll give you videos you like.
Sometimes, but my life goes in spurts.
Okay.
I might want to open up my phone and watch something specific and so TikTok might think that I want to watch videos of, people, I don't know, food prepping for the end of the world because I had one specific day that I just went to town and watched because I was fascinated with it. The other night, for example, YouTube does the same thing, by the way. They all kind of have a very similar algorithm where it says, oh, we think you want to watch this.
Right.
But YouTube, the other night, I watched, what was it? Oh, I know what it was. I was listening to the Top Gun Maverick soundtrack
Okay.
on YouTube because it's inspiring.
Okay.
And that led me to like interviews with Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Then I watched an interview with Tom Cruise and I saw how he got really upset in a couple of interviews. And he like argued with the interviewer and stuff. And I think Matt Lauer was one and somebody else.
Ooh.
and he disagreed with these people, and he confronts it. Like he doesn't hold back. He confronts it, deals with it. Anyway, I'm getting way off topic, but the point is, once I watched one video, it started showing me all these other videos.
Right.
Well, the next day, I don't want to watch Tom Cruise.
Don't watch it.
It thought I did. Yeah, but it
Just don't
kept
click on
everything
it.
that it kept saying. You want to watch this? You want
Lots
to
of-
watch about Scientology? You want to
Yeah,
watch
yeah,
about,
yeah.
you know? And then you've got, because you, this is so stupid. YouTube is, because you watched videos of Tom Cruise talking about Scientology, okay? Do you want to watch Leah Remini talk about Scientology? Because she's got a show that's against Scientology. So I'm like, yeah, sure. So I did watch some of that stuff, but
Okay.
it doesn't matter if it's there's pros, cons, positives, negatives. It's just that's the topical thing, and it thinks that you want to watch anything that has to do with that forever until you start watching different videos.
Yeah,
and then they go,
it
oh, do you
gets
want to watch this?
smarter. Yeah.
I see you just watched a short from Casper the Friendly Ghost. I don't know why that popped into my head.
Yeah.
Do you want to watch more ghost stories, or do you want to watch more old cartoons? No. Sometimes I'm a very sporadic guy. Wouldn't you say that?
No. Little House on the Prairie, Seinfeld.
Those are my favorites.
You watch.
Those are my favorites. I'm not gonna lie. That's a big.
You
There's
could
a
open
big gap in
YouTube.
between those two.
Yeah, that's true. And if one of those videos were there and that was just everything, I feel like you'd be content.
It's funny you say Little House on the Prairie, because literally the other day I went down this whole rabbit trail of Little House on the Prairie interviews by like cast members and stuff. I could probably tell you everything there is to know about Little House on the Prairie, and you would sit here and not care about any of it at all, but hopefully listen politely and hear my spiel.
I probably would. I just
I
don't
love that.
understand the fascination.
You don't understand the fascination? I can tell you. Did you know Little House on the Prairie today is, I think, more popular than ever?
Really?
Yeah, and the reason is because I think it's the same reason that antique stores are very popular today, more than ever before in history. And what happens is you walk into an antique store, same thing happens to your brain as when you turn on Little House on the Prairie. You're seeing people live in a simpler life, and it's a reminder of when we didn't have phones, we didn't have screens, we didn't have computers. You actually had to communicate with another human being face to face. It's a weird concept today.
Right.
But it is something that I know for a fact you can understand, because
Yes.
you don't even
I
really
get that.
get into all this stuff.
Right.
Yeah. You prefer to like talk to people and spend quality time to people. You do. You've
Yeah,
always
of
been like
course,
you've
of
always been
course.
like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
You say of
I mean,
course like it's normal, but it's
well,
not. Most
yeah.
people are glued to their screens. Most people, when they make a phone call to a friend, they don't want the friend to answer.
I was going to say like not even face-to-face like conversations. People don't even want to talk over the phone.
Yeah,
I've seen so many like memes and videos of people who are like, just like basically acknowledging that they hate getting phone calls, or like, don't call me. Like, why are you calling me? It's 2022. Like, send me a text. And I was like, that's so crazy. Because I love calling people.
I love
like
calling.
if I have a question, or like if I want to say hi, or like I'm just gonna give you a call, because texting is not that personal.
But are you good at keeping it at the question that you want to ask or the quick thing, or do you keep somebody hanging on?
It depends. You have to. Well, that's just basic conversation. Like you have to know if the other person wants to talk to you or not.
I know, but I think that's what's going on is people prefer a text because it could take a long time to get somebody off the phone. Don't you think that's what it is?
True. That's true. You
You're
can
like, I
always
can
just
get so
pretend
much
your phone died.
Yeah, and these days everybody's so busy that you're like, I don't have time to pick up the phone and call somebody. You know,
I guess
I
so.
I got a
think
question. I'm gonna ask them the question.
Yeah.
Hey, you gonna be home at 10? As opposed to, hey, listen, I got a question for you. Then it's a big, long, drawn out
I
ordeal.
love that.
Well, no.
Especially if I like, I don't know, if someone just called me and was like, hey, do you want to grab dinner? Or like, hey, do you want to hang out? Instead of texting, hey, I just like that better.
Totally get it, but you have to acknowledge that it takes longer, right?
Barely. I guess, yes, it does.
Barely?
Take longer. But it's also more
depends on what they say.
meaningful. Not that it means
No, you're
anything,
right.
but it is.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that.
I think.
Totally agree with that. But it's also true that if you pick up the phone and call somebody and you say, do you want to have dinner tonight at 5? And they say, yeah, it's not like you're going to click the phone and you're ended the call. It's like, yeah, how was your day?
Oh, no.
How are things
I
going?
don't think so.
With you? You
I've
don't
had
think so?
many calls.
That are short?
Emily calls me, hey, do you want to go grab ice cream? Yeah. Okay, I'll come pick you up. Okay, bye. And then
I love
go get
that.
ice cream.
And then two human beings actually spoke to one another. Now you could hear their voice.
Yeah.
I totally get it.
Yeah.
Talk about getting off track.
Way off track.
None of that actually had to do with
Growing your social media.
social media. Yeah.
Grow your social life and your social if you have it.
Oh, that's way more important than growing your social media. Grow your actual life, your actual, Yes, I totally agree. I will tell you one thing that has always helped me in social media that not a lot of people really talk about. It's all be consistent and, get on a schedule and all of those two things are very, very important. They really are.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, and I've told people before stupid things like, be yourself. It's the most generic piece of advice ever. It is true though. But the other thing I would say is, to get inspired, to be inspired, like whatever inspires you probably doesn't inspire me or vice versa. So like for me, I could watch a YouTube video that just hits home with me and it inspires me to do something like that's a great idea. Sometimes you can watch a movie, which we're going to talk about movies later, a movie or a TV show or something and go, I feel so inspired. Have you ever done that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, you feel so good at the end of it. You're like, I want to go conquer the world or something big that I want to do.
For me, mostly that's music. Like if I hear a new song or a song I've never heard before, that I get that same feeling like after.
Really? Does it inspire you to write a new song?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Exactly.
So do you copy your songs off of other people?
No,
Oh.
it's just like
What is it? Is it the lyrics or the music does something to your brain or what?
I think it just depends, but usually the music, because there's not too many I don't know. The lyrics today, it's hard for me to find artists that are really good with lyrics. Because most of the time I think I have like my favorite artists that I listen to that like inspire me lyrically, but most of the time it's just like lyrics are really basic and done before, and I've heard them before, and I can usually guess the next line. Like once they say the first line, I'm like, oh, I know this song already.
Oh, true. Yeah, I do that too.
Even though I don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, so probably the music, I guess. I don't know.
Wow. Do you like music from the 50s?
Yes.
Pretty most of the music from the 50s is pretty basic.
Paul Anka, is he 50s?
Yeah, well, you know Paul Anka?
Yeah, I like him.
You know, Pops had an autographed photo of him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
I can't even think of what he sings, but...
Put Your Head on My Shoulder. That's the most popular one.
Oh, Chris was just singing that this morning when he was setting up the cameras and stuff. That's Paul Anka. Did you know that was Paul Anka?
Of course.
Of course. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Put your head on my shoulder. That one?
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's great. Wow, classic.
Great.
Well, anyways, I think it's important to stay inspired, and everybody has their own way of doing that. So whatever that means, some people are into like motivational speakers. What's his name? Anthony Robbins, who's a big famous, guy. Who you don't know who Tony Robbins is?
No.
Wow. Okay.
No, I
Are you not
don't.
really into those people?
Who is he?
He's one of those motivational speakers. Who like inspires people.
I like
and
a
he has
good
books and-
motivational book. Yeah. But
Yeah,
I don't listen to
yeah.
speakers, no.
Okay.
Not that often.
He's a writer too. He's got like a bunch of, books and stuff like that. But yeah, I think like you were talking about music, movies do it for me, I would say, and a lot of times shows. Music will do it sometimes.
Books, that's a great one. There's so many good, inspiring books that once you like finish one chapter, it just like, I don't know, at least for me, makes me feel really inspired and like want to do something.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
I recently have been writing scripts. And I've actually been doing it for a while, but recently I've dug in and like learned all the lingo and stuff like that. It's been a learning experience for me.
Technical parts.
Talk about getting inspired. You sit down. I totally get I did it with my book because I'm working on my book too, and I'll come up with different, I'll remember things from my life, and I'm writing this whole thing.
Okay, yeah.
And that's inspired. That's really cool to do that. But when you're creating a story and you get to invent characters and stuff, you start typing and the rest of it just keeps coming. It just keeps, your creative juices get flowing, and you start creating all this world and these characters.
That's so cool.
It's so awesome. And it inspires you in life in so many different ways too. Like the other day I finished a script and I was so excited with it. And I got this amazing feedback from a bunch of people, and I was like, yes. and I felt honestly like I was out running errands that day, and I called your mom, who was at home, and I said, hey, I just have to tell you. And I was so excited. I said, probably, I think I told you this the other day too. I said, probably writing a movie script is a piece of my life, work-wise, that I enjoyed maybe more than any other piece of work ever.
Yeah, I think I do remember you mentioning that.
That's a big deal.
That's a huge deal.
I'm in my late 40s.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome, though.
I've done a lot of things, videos, and I've done a lot of stuff, but there was nothing like it. It was just very creative for me. And anyway, I don't want to bore you with that. But the other thing, number 3, I think we're at number 3.
Okay.
Is have a niche. We were talking about a niche?
Yes.
Oh, that's right.
Well,
it is niche.
if you're gonna, yeah,
We confirmed
you can say it
that
wrong
it's
the whole
niche,
time.
so I don't mind
Yeah. Okay.
conceding to that. It's a niche. You should have some kind of a niche, even if it's a wide niche.
Yeah.
Whatever that is. My niche, for example, has always been pranks. But where I have screwed up is I left it at my niche, and that was it for the most part.
Okay.
As opposed to expanding your palette a little bit, I guess, your creative palette, and allowing other things to come in.
Okay.
Because what happened was I built this entire following who only wanted to see pranks. So whenever I tried something new, I started to get a little bored. Yeah, every once in a while I get kind of bored. You know, pranks don't quite do it for me the same way that they did 5-6 years ago.
Okay.
It's
Why is that?
I think
just
because
repetitive, like too routine.
it's repetitive, it's routine. You're always thinking of different things that you can do, and pretty soon you start to go, how many pranks can you do that are going to be totally far removed from what you've done before? It's the goal is to trick somebody into thinking something is real and capturing a reaction from them. So you can change the circumstances around the prank as much as you want. You can always make it different.
Yeah.
But the end result is kind of the same. You're trying to pull one over on somebody. So you want to do sketches. You want to do vlogs, maybe let people into your life. You want to have all these other ideas. And so whenever you try to do that after you have created this niche is, you reach a point where you're like, what's next? How do you do it? Because you do something and then people watch and they're like, oh, this sucks. Thumbs down. I hate this. What are you doing? I hate, people know me as the fart guy, for example.
Yeah.
Because of the pooter. But next thing you know, you have people like saying stick to farts when you try to do anything else.
Yeah.
Stick to the farts. I've literally posted stuff on Facebook before that was meaningful and sincere. Thank you for everything that you've done to help me get to where I am today. I really appreciate you. Thank you for my viewership, blah, blah, blah. And I would have somebody go stick to farts. It's real.
We don't care. Show us the farts.
Yeah. It's really true.
Aw, that's sad.
So I would say this. This is what I've learned from that experience: is have a niche, but try to kind of keep the doors open. Keep the doors to creativity open, and from the very beginning, maybe make 75% your niche and use that extra 25% to kind of let some other things in too. Because there are people now who have done that. And these days you can create a YouTube channel from scratch or Facebook, and you will get a bigger viewership. And this is what I was getting to earlier that I kind of got away from, but you'll get a bigger viewership off of just the audience engagement of having, 5,000, 10,000 followers, as you will with me having 1.6 million.
Yeah.
Because what happened with me is I was never consistent. So if I go a month or 2 months without posting something, well, now I'm not in those people's feeds. So when I upload a new video, so to this day, my videos usually on average will get 100, 200,000, views or something like that. Anyway, so I would say stick to definitely have a niche, but keep the doors open.
Keep it open a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. What about the comments? You read your comments?
Yeah. I used to not when I was younger.
Yeah. I love your
Because-
voice.
Why?
I just now when you just said, yeah, I love your voice so much. I always have. I know that's way off topic, but when you just said it, you remind me of, your voice has always had this quality about it that is reminiscent of the
20s?
Yes.
I don't understand.
Yes.
I don't get
I
that.
could try to do it so that you could understand what you sound like.
Okay.
But then if I did it, you would hope you don't sound like that.
Okay.
It wouldn't sound right. I'd probably sound like Kermit the Frog or something if I did it. But if you listen to like some of the singers from the 20s, 30s. Anyway, back
Okay.
to the point. Sorry.
I didn't when I was growing up because I think I was just a lot more sensitive. Now I don't really care. And also, for whatever reason, now it is primarily positive comments. I don't get hate comments like hardly ever. But when I was growing up posting videos like years ago, I would get, it would be maybe like 90% positive, 10% negative, which is valid because I wasn't like this incredible like prodigy singer or whatever, but
I think you were.
But yeah, I didn't because it would just kind of like, I don't know. For whatever reason, the negative ones just always stand out more. Even if there's a million good ones, the negative ones are always going to stand out because they're like the few and far between. Just like I feel like if you're getting 90% negative comments, the 10% positive ones are going to stand out more.
Yeah.
It's not the fact that it's positive and negative. It's just the majority versus not. But now I don't really have that problem. And even if I did, I've kind of come to terms with like, okay,
Really?
like you don't like it, that's okay. It's not for you.
Really?
Find something you like. Yeah.
I feel like that it's like life is like that in general. Like
Yeah.
like you could do 10 nice things for somebody just because you're a nice person. And then the minute you screw up and do something insensitive, that's what you're going to get in trouble for.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
going to bring
yeah.
attention to the negative thing.
Yeah.
And that's why it's hard for people to compliment other people when they do something nice.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You can go out of your way to do nice things for people, and you might not get recognized for it because it's more natural for you to, I don't know what an example of something negative would be, but whatever it is, that would bring more attention
Yeah.
to that person. And so they would,
Yeah. Right. Of course.
that sucks. We need to change that.
Yeah. I'm a little confused on what you're saying.
Really?
Yeah.
Which part?
Well, I'm trying to follow and like agree with you, but
Yeah.
you're also saying you could do like 10 nice things for someone and then do one mean thing, and then that's the thing that's going to stick out. But also being nice to someone's like the bare minimum of like being a human being and have a relationship with somebody. So of course, like the negative thing.
I don't know if it is today. If you really think about it, everybody's very self-contained in their own life. They're very swallowed up in ego and stuck to their phones. And
I wouldn't
there's
say
not a lot of
everybody.
nice. Well, everybody. I think most people.
Yeah, probably.
I think most people. I think there's some people out there which I get. They talk about. I think mankind for the most part is good.
I do.
I think that's just because you want to believe that.
No.
Right? It's not.
Well-
that's not really real, right?
Well, if it's not real to you, it's not going to be real to you. If it is, like, if you genuinely believe that people are good, then that's what you're going to see in everyday life. When you go out to the grocery store, people are going to someone's going to buy your groceries for you, and someone's going to like compliment you, and you're going to see that because that's what's there. But if you believe that most people are not good and there's a lot of negativity in the world, you're going to see that.
So because you believe that people are bad, people are going to be bad?
Yes.
Oh, come on, Maddie.
Exactly.
Come on.
And I'm not saying like, oh, I believe everyone's bad, and then I go to the store and someone decides to like kick me in the shin. I'm saying like, like they just decided that because I think that they're bad. I'm just
Yeah.
saying that's what's going to stick out to you.
Oh,
You're
okay,
not even
now
going
I
to,
get
if
it.
you believe everyone is negative or like people aren't genuinely good, you're not going to see it when they are.
That
You're
makes
only
sense
gonna
because
see it
your
when they
brain,
aren't.
your brain is in that place.
Yeah.
And so whatever you're thinking, those are the things that are going to stick out to you.
Yeah.
That might be what it is that if you have a negative attitude, a lot of negative things happen to you because that's what's in your head. But actually, if you go out and you're open-minded, there's a lot of good and a lot of bad, and it is what it is. You have to
Yeah.
just take from it what you,
Exactly.
I get that. I get that.
Do you read your comments?
I
Well, apparently you do.
I would give
Stick
people
to farts.
I would I would give people this advice. I would say, don't read comments. Do not read the comments. But read the comments to see what the feedback is. It's a catch-22. It's like you really, a lot of people would say stay away from the comment section. Don't even worry about it. But at the same time, you got to know what people are saying and thinking.
Yeah, it's
Actually,
inevitable. You're going to want to read it.
oh yeah. Yeah, and you're going to want to comment back to these people.
Yeah, that's true.
These scumbags.
That is true.
Who are saying awful things. And it's not fun. It's not fun reading this stuff. It sucks.
You really have to know how to just...
You ever taken like comments personally, like negative comments personally?
Yeah, all the time. Not recently, but
Yeah.
when I first started social media, I did.
So
Definitely.
then there has to be a balance. There's got to be a balance between reading the comments and like how often you're actually going to do that. If you're the type of person who's going to take those comments to heart, which let's face it, like any of us are on some level.
Yeah.
Like some people say, oh, the comments don't bother me. I mean, if you read something about you and it's really, really awful or really, really negative, it's hard to not let that bother you, especially when several of them are coming in.
Right. Yeah.
Now, being in pranks, I would say that probably, you said like maybe 90, it's a 90-10 split maybe.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's probably maybe 70-30, something like that. Because
Really?
yeah, because you never know how somebody's going to act. So if I do something that where the end result is a negative feeling of somebody, like they get mad at me for something, which is rare, but it happens.
Right.
That immediately garnishes like a bunch of hatred. I could do the exact same thing in another scenario and it made somebody laugh, and then that would be great. Everybody would be fine with it.
Right. Because at first it's like, oh, you're being a menace, you're bothering them. And then if they react good,
menace.
it's like, oh, you're funny.
Yeah.
You just made their day.
Yeah. A menace. Exactly. I am a menace. Basically, that's what I do. So yeah, there definitely has to be that balance of reading comments, because a lot of times, your fans are watching you and paying attention to what you're doing, and they might actually have an idea, a good idea for you to do
Yeah.
something new that
that's
people might
true.
really want
Right.
and listen to. Kind of like I said one time, I remember, I think this was my idea. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
But you did a duet with Tyler Ward.
Oh, was that your idea?
That was my idea.
I didn't know that.
Well, your mom and I had just seen A Star Is Born, I think. Mm-hmm. And that song was going crazy.
Yeah.
What was it called? Shallow.
Shallow.
And I said, you got to do Shallow. And then how did the thing happen with Tyler? I think we ran into him at the chiropractor.
Yeah, yeah. He went to the
And I
same
was like-
chiropractor.
And I said, hey, Tyler and I were talking. I'm like, you and Maddie should do Shallow. Or that's something like that. And next thing you know, you guys did it.
Did amazing. It did crazy. I've never had a song do that good before.
It did great. Yeah. I don't even know how many views is on Spotify now on that song. Do you even
Let
know?
me see.
Or close to it. It was, first of all, it was beautiful. Wasn't it kind of an acoustic
Yeah, it was acoustic.
version?
42
Oh,
million streams.
42 million streams
That's crazy.
on Spotify, that song. The duet between you and Tyler Ward. Unbelievable. Hey, Tyler Ward is doing, we should have him on the show sometime.
We should. Yeah, that'd
He's
be fun.
got some crazy that
Show thing going on.
he did some
What
big,
is that called?
He started some company with a bunch of songwriters.
Yeah.
And the guy is doing great.
He
And
is
I've been
doing
hearing about
great.
him through John Freck at Circle and stuff. Oh my gosh, we should
Yeah.
totally get Tyler.
Yeah, let's do that.
He'd be a great person to talk to. He's He's a pretty smart guy. He's a very smart guy, business, music business, and all that kind of stuff.
Definitely.
So it'd be great to get him. We've talked about 4 things. I'm going to go over them real quick. Regular schedule, be consistent, and utilize all that every given platform has to offer because they favor that. They like that.
Yep.
So if they have stories and reels and posts and pictures and all the stuff that they want to, make sure that you're utilizing all of it and get yourself on a schedule so that Facebook, I would say, has the most to offer because they have so many different things that you can do. They even have, you post a photo and you can make it a 3D photo. Have you ever done that?
No, I didn't know that
Check
existed.
it out.
Okay.
Yeah, you post a photo of yourself, click the 3D option.
What, can you like move it around or something?
No,
or?
you just click the 3D button and you wait for it to process. It takes like a few seconds, and then all of a sudden the photo comes up, and then you move the screen around, and it's 3D.
Oh, interesting.
It's really kind of cool. And then you can do like the multi-slide thing where you upload like 5 or 6 photos, and people can slide. Facebook basically wants to see the same thing that all the other platforms do, and that's that if you're utilizing everything, they're going to favor you. And when it's time for a new bonus, when it's time for a new, to promote your videos, they're going to consider you to be the one to do that. That's why that's so important.
Right.
And also, it's important to your fans so they see that you're well-rounded and doing all these different things and stuff.
Exactly.
Memes, heartfelt messages, because you want to get people talking. The other thing I will say is this: very, very, very important.
Okay.
It's funny too because we just talked about reading comments. Don't read comments. First of all, nobody's going to take that advice to heart. Everybody's going to read comments. Reply to the comments.
Oh, yeah. Keep your followers engaged.
Yeah, you don't want to do it to every single comment, but you want to pick a few to comment to, even the negative ones. Because the interesting thing, now I'm not saying like fight with people, but think of something clever to say. Like, what if somebody gave you constructive criticism about something?
Okay. Yeah,
I've seen that before, and I would reply back to the comment, and I would be like, thank you, I'm going to consider this.
That's great advice. Thanks.
Yeah, and then other people would be like, oh, they're, open-minded.
Yeah, and then they loosen up a little bit, their hard shell.
Yes, exactly. Number 2, stay inspired. Whatever that means for your life, stay inspired. It could be writing, it could be listening to music, watching movies, whatever it is. Stay inspired. Talk to somebody that
Look
inspires you.
at other people in your niche too and see what they're doing and try to get inspiration from that.
Love that. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely true. Number 3, find a niche, but I'm getting good at saying niche.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't think I ever would be. Find your niche, discover your niche, but also keep it balanced. Make sure that it makes sense and you're able to like kind of, expand your horizons as well and your options. Number 4 is about the comments, which we're talking about now. So I think that stuff is probably, and I would say it's pretty much all the same for every genre.
Yeah, I would say so.
You want to like research your niche too, see what other people are doing out there and all of that. So I'm glad we talked a little bit about movies.
What?
No, earlier we did. We had a couple
When?
of movie references earlier.
Really?
Yeah, you don't remember? And it
I
doesn't
remember
matter. Let's move on.
Okay.
We,
Move on to movies.
a few episodes ago, we were talking about like Elvis
Yes.
and some of our favorite, movies and stuff like that. So I thought it would be fun to go over because you know how I just got through making a big deal about how movies inspire me?
Yes.
They do. They
Okay.
do. And that's probably some of the reason that I love writing now because I'm thinking about all the movies that I've seen and everything like that. I love the Farrelly Brothers comedies, okay? And I had an opportunity to get to meet one of them and found out that they had watched my videos within the family and stuff like that. So Christian Busaith and I developed an idea for a show, and it ended up going to Peter Farrelly, and that ended up getting sold to Fox, and we created this show together, which was amazing. Well, so now as I'm writing scripts, it's really fun to think about my favorite like movie experiences, and that's kind of one of them now.
Oh, okay.
It's in like my file in my brain. I go to that file cabinet and I'm like, that was such a cool experience. So I can think about these things kind of on a new level.
Yeah.
Do you know what my number one favorite movie is of all time?
I would say Back to the Future. I know that's in your top 5, but I don't know if that's your number one. But I'm gonna say it is. Is that wrong?
It's Forrest Gump.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I did know that. I knew
I'm
that.
not quite ready to say that Forrest Gump is no longer my number one top favorite.
Okay.
I feel like I might be getting close because there are some great movies. In fact, matter of fact, believe it or not, there's a new movie that's out now, and I think you're going to be able to stream it in like a week or buy it online. But we saw it in the theater twice. Oh, we didn't talk about Forrest Gump enough, though, so I don't want to say it yet. Because this is number 2 on the list. But the reason I brought it up is because I was thinking it's almost could have been a tie between Forrest Gump and this one. Like this one, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
But have you ever watched the whole movie?
I watched Forrest Gump, but I was young.
Oh,
So I feel like I need to rewatch it now that I can remember it
yes.
properly. Because I remember like little scenes here and there, but I don't remember like the full drawn out thing.
It has everything in this movie. It's like 2.5 hours long almost. It's like 2:20 maybe. And it has everything. That's what was so great about it. It was dramatic. It was funny. It was entertaining. It had action in it. It was a love story. I mean, so much in it to unpack. So we don't have to get into the whole thing, but I used to know how to do a pretty mean impression.
You can still do it. Do it.
Hello.
That's it. Say the
You
whole
like
line.
it?
Say the whole line.
My name's Forrest Gump. My mama always said life is like a box of chocolates.
That's pretty good.
There's a Mandela effect to that. Do you know what it is?
That's the silliest Mandela effect. It's like was or is.
Yeah, it's is versus was.
Yeah.
It is really stupid.
What was
it's just
it?
in how you
Was?
hear it. It was, yeah.
It was.
But everybody kept saying is. Life is like a box. Yes, that's what it is.
Yeah, I heard
But
about
when I used to do a meet, like I would do the whole thing sitting on the bench. Those must be comfortable shoes.
that. That was good.
I could walk all day in shoes like that and not feel a thing. He's a little off though. You could tell in the movie, so it's always nowadays. I don't even know if it's okay to impersonate Forrest Gump because he's obviously a little slow, in the movie. I love that movie so much. If you get a chance, you got to watch it from start to finish.
Yeah.
What's your
I
number
have
one?
to.
What's your number one? First of all, you got your top 5 favorite movies, right?
Yes, I
Okay.
do. Which
And are they in a row of?
they're not in order. But I do have my first favorite movie. Oh, are they supposed to be in order?
I just want to hear your first.
My
one.
first favorite is Clueless.
Oh, I knew it. I had a feeling.
Which is kind of silly, but it's just so good. And I've watched it so many times. It's just tried and true and timeless. So
It's
that is my
timeless,
answer.
even.
It is, I think.
Wow. Even
That's
like,
a great movie.
is some of the lingo like not? I mean, but that doesn't matter. It can still be timeless, even if
It's, yeah, I would say so.
Okay.
I think so.
Who's your favorite character in that movie? Is that a stupid question?
Alicia.
Alicia. Okay. I don't know if mine. I love Clueless too, by the way. It's not one of my picks, but I do like that movie. I saw it when it first came out, by the way.
Jealous.
Stacey Dash. I love her.
Is that the best friend?
Yes.
Oh,
the
okay.
black
Yeah,
girl.
yeah.
She's so good
She
in
is
this movie.
incredible.
She's so good.
It's
And
so
she's been in a
funny.
lot of stuff that's really, she is talent. She's so good. I met her once and I have a picture with her.
Wait.
Stacey
Oh,
Dash.
I think you did tell me about this.
I did?
You met her. Well, I remember that she like followed you or something. Or is that someone else?
No, she didn't
Twitter.
follow me. I
Someone
followed
from
her.
Clueless.
Yeah, which sounds really creepy, but it's not really how I mean it. Me and your mom were in a hotel in Beverly Hills, and they had some kind of event going on, and she walked into the event, and there was Shannon Doherty and like some kind of a celebrity event was there, and Stacey Dash was there, and she
Okay.
was on her way. She was with a couple people, and she was on her way to the elevator, and we got a picture with her. So there you go. Got a picture with Stacey Dash.
Very cool. Very cool.
Alicia, not yet. Hopefully.
yeah. Hopefully. I want to meet her.
Yeah, hopefully soon. Do you?
Yeah.
I don't know if this is in any particular order besides my first one either, but
Okay.
I will say Top Gun Maverick.
That's in your top 5.
It has to be, Maddie.
Yeah, that makes sense. That was a great movie. That was really good.
I've always liked Top Gun. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things about Top Gun Maverick that I like that I think put the movie on a whole different level.
Compared to the first one?
I don't know if I'm ready to say I like it better than the first one.
Oh.
But, you know, it's 2022. It finally came out. It was in what they call development hell for like 3 years or something like that. And then COVID, and then all this stuff happened.
Yeah, right.
And then finally it comes out, right? They stayed true to... Okay, this is how I feel about... I'm going to talk about Top Gun Maverick for a second.
Okay.
I have to do this, okay?
Okay.
This is what I hate these days about movies in general and going to see new movies in theaters and streaming them and whatever. There's a lot of differences that people have in politics and all kinds of stuff, just regular society changes and all of this kind of stuff. And almost every movie that comes out, it seems like there's some kind of agenda in it, one way or another. I hate that because I just want to go see a movie and enjoy the movie. Now, Elvis was, I would say, a great movie because it was all from the perspective of Colonel Parker.
Yes.
And it was really about Elvis's life.
Yeah.
But Top Gun was very, very similar to this. It was almost like Tom Cruise knew what Americans wanted to see. Because it was so good. It had the love story. Had some comedic elements to it. It had the cool factor because holy cow, Tom Cruise is like, I'm not sure if he's aged or not since the first one. But that guy
looks the same.
Oh, the movie had, I can't rave about it enough. You know, I saw it twice in the theater. And I know people who've seen it 4 or 5 times in the theater.
Really?
Because it was that good. And then even the music, the soundtrack was unbelievable. The soundtrack of the first movie was great. Well, they stayed true to that. They added some new stuff, but they also brought some of the old soundtrack into the new soundtrack.
Okay, I didn't know that because I never watched the first one.
Okay, I've been listening to it nonstop. The soundtrack that inspires me, by the way, to be creative for the day. I'll listen to it, put my phone down, and just listen to the soundtrack. I can't rave about it enough. It was so good, made me cry because it's it's part 2, and I remember the first one and everything. It's such a good movie. What's number 2 on your list?
Little Women.
Do what now?
Little Women.
Little Women.
Yes, great movie.
Okay,
Have you never seen it?
There's several versions of it. The
I
one
know.
with Winona
The only
Ryder?
one. No, I actually haven't seen that one, which I know is better than the one that I've seen.
I've never seen any of them, so I don't know.
I've only seen the one with like the newest one with Timothée Chalamet.
Who's that?
You
Is
don't
it-
know who he is?
No, is
He's
he the director?
Very famous actor right now.
Oh, very
Yeah.
famous.
Yeah.
Have no idea who he is.
Oh, you do. Beautiful Boy.
I do.
With Steve Carell.
Beautiful boy. I didn't see. Oh,
Yes, you did.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Beautiful boy.
Yeah, the
Wait,
kid
he's the
in that.
kid?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
no
Timothy.
kidding. Oh gosh, that was Beautiful Boy. That was gut wrenching.
Ugh.
Gut wrenching.
That was very incredible movie.
Yeah.
Hard to watch.
Yeah.
But Little Women. Yeah.
How new
it's
is
so
Little Women? Is
good.
that
I don't know. Within like the last 5 years, I think.
now?
it's
Which
pretty
woman
new.
was he
He was.
in the movie? I've never seen it, so I don't know.
He was not. Okay.
Wait,
well,
what did he play? Who was he?
He was he was just the main guy actor in it, and basically all the girls, they're all sisters, and I don't know.
Who's your number 3?
Okay. It's hard. Okay, it's a great movie. I think you would like it.
Really?
Yeah, it's based off of the book. It's very
the book. I couldn't take my eyes off Little Women when I was a kid.
It's okay. Well, whatever.
I
Number
couldn't even
3 is Truman Show. That's in my top 5.
It is?
Yes.
Oh, Maddie, I'm so happy to hear
So
that.
good. I love that movie.
Okay, I'm just going to tell you now. The
Okay.
Truman Show is on my list of top 5.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
That's a great movie.
I'm so excited that that's in your top
and
5.
I love Jim Carrey. And the idea behind it always freaked me out as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, it is. It was so relatable at the time, and looking back, it still is.
Yeah.
You're like, wow.
Lots of quotes from
Yeah,
it.
yeah. There's a microscope on everything that we do right now. It feels like
Yeah.
sometimes, you know. So you're always like, man, people are watching it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's cameras everywhere. It's weird, but you're absolutely right. The Truman Show was one of my favorite movies ever. Still to this day, I could watch it. I've probably seen it 20 times.
What year did that come out?
I'm not sure. It's been about 20 years, maybe.
Okay. Yeah. Like 2000.
I will tell you, this is not on my list, but since we brought up the Truman Show, I have to tell you,
Okay.
Probably a close number 2 on my list of Jim Carrey movies, if that were a thing, which it's not, by the way, right now, currently, but it could be in the
Yeah.
future.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he's been in a lot of stuff.
Okay.
The Majestic.
Never seen it.
Okay. I will say, I think that if you like The Truman Show, I mean, it's a totally different movie, but I think
Okay.
if you like The Truman Show, you're going to like The Majestic.
What is that about?
Well, you know how The Truman Show gave Jim a chance to really shine in his acting.
Yeah.
He was funny,
All over the place.
but it was, oh man, it was heart-wrenching too,
Yeah.
some of it.
Right.
The Majestic is like that. So The
Oh,
Majestic
okay.
even digs into that even more.
Okay.
Again, it's funny, it's great, but it's more just a really good story, The Majestic. Do you know
Okay.
what The Majestic is about?
No, I just asked that.
Oh, then I'm going to tell you. Okay. So basically, this guy is in Hollywood. I'm not going to get into too much of it. I'll just give you the
Okay.
gist of it.
Okay.
He's in Hollywood. He's an exec in Hollywood or a writer or something like that. Anyways, he gets blacklisted in Hollywood for being called being deemed a communist.
Okay.
Okay. Hollywood used to be a really, a lot of, well, I'm just going to let you see the movie. But anyways,
Okay.
the point is his career is about to end. Okay, it's about to be over.
Okay.
And one night he gets in the car, he takes off, he gets a car accident in the rain, and his car goes off the bridge and into the water.
Okay.
Next thing you know, he gets washed up on shore in a new place in California, this little beach town in California somewhere. And this guy finds him, this old man finds him with his dog, and he brings him to the doctor, and Jim gets amnesia. He has no idea who he
Oh.
is. So he happens to be in this town. He happens to look like a war veteran or somebody who went off to war years ago and was assumed to be deceased
Okay.
because they haven't seen him in 20, 30 years, whatever it is, long time. And now he's back and he looks the same. And I'm telling you, they show pictures of this kid and he looks just like Jim Carrey. So they think he's
Oh,
back and
yeah.
he just can't remember who he is or why he's there. So he gets welcomed
That's a
into this
great
town.
idea.
Yeah, it's such a good movie.
Okay. I wonder if that's on Netflix. I have to watch
The,
that.
the kid's dad sees him when he's in the diner. And then the movie starts to unfold. He sees him
Ooh.
walk by.
Okay.
Oh,
I want to
it's-
see this.
You got to see The Majestic. It is so
That sounds
good.
really interesting.
It would have been on my top 10 had our list been
Okay.
longer, but we're doing the top 5. So
Yeah.
who is the next? We did The Truman Show, which we both agree on. So
Truman
we're at number
Show.
4, right?
Yes. Number 4. I put Spider-Man.
Wait, which one? Spider-Man.
Well, either the first one or the very most recent one.
No, you can't do
Why?
that. Totally different actors
okay,
acting.
okay.
You have to pick one.
This most recent one.
Oh, the most recent one.
With all 3 of them.
Oh gosh, yeah.
So,
that's
so
tough.
good.
Yeah, you're right.
So good. I loved
Okay.
that movie. And I just like Spider-Man. He's my favorite.
Okay, I'm sticking to what I have here,
Okay.
but that did make me do a
With
double.
all of them in it, so good. That was like
So
oh,
good.
Yeah,
It's so
great
good.
movie.
No Way Home, right?
Yep.
Up until the day it was released, it was all speculation
Yep.
that what happened was going to happen. I will say this. If we had, actually, you know what? I would say this. If we had like the top 5 most magical moments of watching a movie in a theater.
All these subgenres. wait. What about this? What
That's
about
a
this?
possibility. That would be number 1 on it. That would be number 1.
Yeah, seeing that in theater was like crazy.
Oh, it was crazy.
Yeah.
People were standing up and cheering and shouting and screaming, and it was one thing to see if Andrew Garfield is ever listening. Yeah, right. Like he's listening.
Andrew, if you're listening.
I don't mean no disrespect, but I mean it was cool to see.
Yeah.
That happen. But when it was, I'm sorry, and I think that's unanimous. Like I think everybody felt like, oh, the OG, wow, Tobey freaking Maguire. It was like, did you know that I met him?
No.
I was in a movie with Tobey Maguire.
What?
I've talked about it before.
What movie?
Yeah, the new Spider-Man. No, I'm just kidding. But I was in Pleasantville, which I've talked about before.
He's in that.
He's the main guy.
I've never seen it. I've never seen it.
He's even in it? What?
I never saw it.
Really?
Other than, no, because you put it on the TV one time and you just skipped it to your part and then we turned it off.
Well, yeah, not that I'm conceited or anything. But we had to wait for it and pause it as fast as we could.
Yeah.
No, it was Toby, and I got to know him a little bit, talk to him.
That's cool.
On set, for the day, and at that time I'm trying to think what was he mainly famous for? I just know that he was best friends with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Wow.
And I found myself. Leo had just gotten back from. Boy, we're getting off track. But I have to say this because we're talking about Toby, and we're talking about Pleasantville. I was an extra in the movie, and I was supposed to be there for a couple days, and I ended up being there for almost 4 weeks. Mm-hmm. And they picked me to be one of Toby's. Toby was like the head thug or one of them or something like that. No, not really a thug necessarily, but we were one of Toby's minions. Okay, we were one of his guys, and so we followed him around everywhere and stuff. Mm-hmm. So if you watch Pleasantville and roll it back in a few different areas, you can see me hanging with Toby. Yeah, and he comes in and he decks somebody. He just punches somebody out and beats up this really mean guy, and we're all just standing there like, he's our leader. Anyways, but he was a really nice guy. And next thing you know, Marky Mark's. Oh, you don't know who Marky Mark is? That's Mark Wahlberg.
Okay.
Who at the time was still being called Marky Mark.
Okay.
It was his birthday party, and I was invited to go to his birthday party, and Leonardo DiCaprio was there, and it's a whole thing. You did not know this?
You were invited to his birthday party?
You had to have known this.
And Leonardo was there?
Let's move on to the next. Oh, yeah.
Did you meet him?
Yeah, Leo had just gotten back from filming Titanic, and I think he might have still been doing some of the scenes from Titanic or something, but they had just filmed some of it like in Mexico, I think. And then next thing you know, so Leo at the time wasn't even famous for Titanic at that time because it hadn't been out yet.
Yeah.
He was famous for Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, okay.
Which is a great movie, by the way, with Claire Danes, and it's a terrific movie. Mm-hmm. Anyways, Michael Rappaport was terrific in that movie too. And anyway, and then Reese Witherspoon. There's a scene in the movie with me and Reese Witherspoon sitting on the steps of the courthouse.
Didn't know that.
Your dad, huh? Huh? What do you know? You learned something new about your dad. Yeah.
That's crazy.
But you knew I was in Pleasantville, but you just didn't know the whole story, right?
Yeah, right.
Anyways. Mm-hmm. Okay, back to the
number 5.
Listen, by the way, Spider-Man is absolutely, that's legit.
Oh, yeah. Incredible movie.
Very, very good. Mm-hmm. Good call on that one.
Wait,
I would say.
What was your number 4?
I'm about to say it right now.
Oh, okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
Back to the Future.
Okay, yes. That's number 4, and I thought it was going to be higher.
Well, I don't know if these are in order or not.
Oh,
it depends
okay.
To me, it's kind of like whatever you want to see.
I forgot that we weren't doing it in order.
Yeah. Back to the Future was the most well-written, acted well, directed. That movie was just had everything in it. It was so good, and it was on the edge of your seat the whole time. There was no lulls in the movie at all. You've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it. You made me watch all of them.
Oh, I'm sorry. I made you.
No, and they were all great. They were
You
all
enjoyed
good.
them, right?
Yeah, I liked it.
Which one was your favorite?
The first one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Did
Okay.
you? Because when I say Back to the Future, I mean the first one, but really it's the whole story collectively.
Yeah.
So
How many were there? 3?
3.
Okay, I thought so.
Did you feel like these? Which one did you like better between the second and third? And to
Give me a
okay,
refresh.
so the
Where did they
second-
go?
The second was all future.
Okay.
Okay. The first one was past the 50s. Okay. The second
Was
one.
it? Oh, the third one was the West,
Wild
Western.
West.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not my favorite. Didn't. That was
Really?
good, but I don't really like that style of movie, anyways.
Oh, what?
Like westerns.
Good movies. Yeah. Really?
So it would definitely be number 1 was my favorite, and then the second one was
And then
better
second
than the
one-
third.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But it was fun watching the whole story, right? It was cool seeing
Yeah.
the Wild West thing. The
Yes.
Wild West, the Western one, the third one made me incredibly sad.
Sad?
Yeah, because the DeLorean gets smashed by the
yeah.
train at the
Yeah,
end. It's
that's
terrible.
true.
Oh,
That was-
spoiler alert. Sorry.
Well, this
case
isn't
you
a
haven't
really
seen it.
old movie. I think it's okay.
I'm warning you. If it's on your list to see and you haven't seen it yet. Did you say number 5 yet? No.
No.
Tell me.
Well,
Tell me.
here's the thing, because I don't watch that many movies, and then when
Yeah.
you told me we were gonna list our favorite movies, I just looked up movies on Google.
Yeah.
So I could
And you had to look.
pick through
Okay.
them.
All right. That's fine.
And then Wally showed up, and I remembered that was.
Oh, come on.
really good.
Wall-E is in your top 5. It is not.
But I also put down Roman Holiday. I really liked that movie.
I accept that.
Okay. Figured
That one I'll accept.
That would be better.
Audrey Hepburn.
Ratatouille. Also, that's a really, really good movie.
Ratatouille. You know, I've never seen that.
Come on.
No, well, I mean, what am I doing watching Ratatouille?
What is anyone doing not watching Ratatouille?
It's that
Such
good?
a great movie.
No kidding.
It really is. It's a good
Isn't
movie.
it about a mouse in a kitchen?
It's a rat, actually.
Okay.
And yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Ratatouille.
he's a chef.
That makes sense.
He's a little chef. Roman Holiday was really great. My roommate and I bought a poster from Goodwill. Big ol', like, beautiful poster. And it was Audrey and who's the guy in that movie? I don't remember.
Is it Gregory Peck?
I think so. Yeah. And super cool. And we hung it up in my apartment, and we didn't want to be posers. And so we had to watch the movie. And it was great. It was a great movie.
That's why you watched the movie? No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you loved it.
Yes. Great movie.
Okay,
I
you've
thought.
seen it once.
Yes. Only saw it once.
Okay. What's it like watching old movies that are that old?
I love it.
Really?
Yeah. I like how they talk.
Do you know what's embarrassing to me?
What?
It's weird to think that I grew up in the 80s. I mean, I was born in 73, but in the 80s, that was my prime. That was, and I remember watching, going to the movies, like Back to the Future is a great example, like, or the original Top Gun or whatever. And I would watch these movies and didn't think nothing of it. They were awesome. They were cutting edge. They were like, the technology was amazing.
Yeah.
And the trailers were good,
But they weren't. The trailers are the funniest part about old movies.
Going back in time now and watching the original trailers for these movies is like it's so awful. Now you can watch the movie and it's not as bad. It's not like that, but it's the trailers. It's the way there was a man
Yeah.
who woke up one day. It's just awful.
It's so funny. What's your number 5?
My number 5 is Goodfellas.
Oh, okay. I never saw that one either.
Now, go
Never
ahead.
mind.
This could be a whole other genre. This could be a whole other topic of my top
Goodfellas?
5 favorite mob movies.
Oh my gosh.
Maddie, I love it. I love it. I'm
Okay.
fascinated with the whole lifestyle. Part of I've seen Goodfellas. Most people probably wouldn't know this about me. I bet I've seen Goodfellas 25 times.
What?
Yeah.
How do you? Oh my gosh.
I've seen it. It was on Lifetime television one time. Rated R, filled with violence and cursing.
On Lifetime?
And it was on Lifetime TV for women one time. And it was impossible to watch because so much was cut out of it. But I watched it anyway. It was on late at night. Mm-hmm. It's
When did that come out?
89, I think.
Oh, okay.
It was.
Is there not a remake, like a new one?
Of Goodfellas?
Yeah.
No, it's a true story.
Oh, okay.
So
For some reason, I thought it was redone.
So Ray Liotta, who just recently passed away, he was big. He was what it was about. He was Henry. So the movie was Joe Pesci, Robert De Niro. It had all the it really was Goodfellas. Like the best of Hollywood was in this movie at the time. Such a good movie. I can't believe you've never seen it. But it's not really it might not be your thing.
I feel like I would like it based on the stories Tracy tells me.
Oh, I know. Oh my gosh. I can't believe we know somebody who and by the way, Tracy, she's a friend of ours, by the way, if you're listening to this. She actually lived through a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
And some of the people, by the way, that Goodfellas is about were in her house.
That's crazy.
I know.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, she lived out there, lived through it. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. And
I feel like I would like it.
Her dad has a bunch of stories to tell, and I think you would like it too. You ever see Donnie Brasco?
No.
You know who's in that?
No.
Johnny Depp.
Oh,
now you want to see it? Oh, okay.
Well, good actor, probably a good movie.
Yeah. No, I like all those kind of movies. I'm a big fan. And it's really fun because I had an opportunity to, start working with it's weird to think I'm going to finish that sentence in a second, but it's weird to think that I'm a big fan of mob movies and Goodfellas. And when I correlate that to working on this movie with Carmen, who, if you don't know who that is, a Christian singer from the 80s and 90s, who only recently passed away, but his prime was in the late 80s, early 90s. And he grew up around this stuff, in Jersey in the early 60s and all this kind of stuff. So a lot of his story, which we got into, and there's a script for now, is, there's mob stuff going around him in his neighborhood and everything.
Yeah,
so,
that's going to be really fun.
Yeah, it's interesting that it's like a, full of faith and him being this Christian singer and all this kind of stuff and how he grew up and what he was surrounded with the whole time. But
yeah, very cool.
Since we're talking, I'm going to do an honorable mention, but it's going to be a little weird.
Okay.
Did you do yours yet? Extra?
No,
did you have one?
I used my extra one instead of Wally.
Listen, I'm not going to judge you. Wally's fun. I don't think I ever saw it.
That's why you're making fun of me.
Because I never
Wally
saw it?
is a great movie.
Really?
Yes.
I mean,
he's a robot and he's trying to take care of the earth.
Oh.
Because humans destroyed it.
Got it.
Yeah.
Now that you say he's a robot trying to take care of the earth, it all makes sense.
Yeah.
I honestly, I never saw it. I just, off the top of my head, I would not imagine that if I asked somebody, what are your top 5 favorite movies of all time, Wall-E would be one of them.
Okay.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
My honorable mention, I'm going to say, is it's a weird one.
Okay.
But you're going to know what. Now, normally, I'm going to tell you what it is. I feel like I got to warm you up on this. Okay, I feel like it is, it's Passion of the Christ.
Okay.
You never probably saw it, really.
I feel like I did.
Or maybe you've seen parts of it or something. I can't believe it's
Is
like 20
that
years
the
old
one
or
where
something.
he's like atheist and then tries to... Oh, I'm thinking of something else. I'm thinking of something else. Okay.
Quite the opposite. You could not be further from...
Okay, but there's... Can I explain myself? Case for Christ is what I was thinking of.
Okay. Well, that makes sense now. The Case for Christ. Okay. Passion of the Christ, The Case for Christ. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, okay, you have redeemed yourself by saying that because now it makes sense.
Okay.
Because that's a fair statement.
Is that the movie about Buddha?
I'm laughing mostly because Chris is quite the opposite. You could not find a movie that's further than that. Okay, so The Case for Christ was That was an incredible movie.
saw that one.
True story.
Saw that one.
Yeah, it's about an atheist who changes his belief after a long investigation trail of finding out, trying to actually prove
That
his
doesn't
position,
exist, yeah.
and it does the exact opposite. The Passion of the Christ was Mel Gibson's movie about Jesus.
Okay.
See why Chris was
Got it.
It was so, because I grew up watching like at Easter, they would have like The Greatest Story Ever Told, or these movies, and they were Bible movies, Jesus movies. There was also a movie called The Bible actually, but it only went through like Genesis or something like that. Anyway, no, The Passion of the Christ is one of those movies. I'll tell you, very, very, very hard to watch. More blood and gore and stuff like that than probably more than you've ever seen in a movie, maybe.
Oh.
Okay, so it's very, very graphic. And it's always weird. It's one of these weird movies. It also will make you cry. It's a very, very, it's a tearjerker, especially if you understand the story already and
Gotcha.
and that's your belief system and that's your faith, which is the case. So you're watching this happen, this really play out the way that you've always been told it did. And it's just seeing it with your eyes and visualizing it, that everything that he went through, it's just this crazy experience. And me and your mom actually saw it in the theater, and that was enough for her. She couldn't do it again because it was way too graphic.
She doesn't like that.
Yeah. But it was incredible. But it's also very awkward when people say, "What's your favorite movie?"
You say that?
Yeah, it's like, all right, that's kind of a weird answer.
Yeah.
I would say not favorite, but maybe meaningful.
Gotcha.
That's
Okay.
how I would word it.
In my top 5 meaningful movies, it would be number 1. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
That is exactly. That's another category. That's the next podcast. What's your top 5 most meaningful movies? Yours would still be Clueless, I feel like. Do you know?
Wally.
I hate doing this, but I'm going to do it anyway. There is a movie that if you have not seen it, I'm going to beg you to see.
Okay.
And again, it would be on my top 10 for sure. Okay? It's called Frequency.
Never seen it.
Maddie, Frequency is... Chris, have you ever seen Frequency?
Never even heard about it.
Jim Caviezel. Dennis Quaid. It is one of the most creative, well thought out, brilliantly acted, incredibly, like, it's edge of your seat entertainment the whole time.
It's like action or...
It's a little bit of everything. Maybe not comedy. I don't remember that part of it, but it was definitely dramatic.
Okay.
And it did have some action, and it's I think it's classified technically under sci-fi.
Okay.
Which is kind of sad because you think of Star Wars and Star Trek and stuff like that. And it's not that at all. It's more sci-fi like, what would be a good example? Basically, he gets out his dad dies, and he gets out his father's old... Well, his dad died a long time ago. And he gets out, he's cleaning out his closet, and he gets out his old CB radio, and he hooks it up. And his dad used to be on a CB radio all the time. Do you know what that is? A CB radio?
I know what a radio is.
A CB radio, I forget that times have changed. A CB radio was this big console thing with a speaker, and people would sometimes even have them in their car. And they would click the button over and out. We got like a walkie-talkie, right? So you'd go... In fact, I had one in my first car, which was a 1972 Maverick Grabber, Ford Maverick Grabber, okay? I had a CB radio, and I was called the Blue Maverick. That was
You were?
That was my handle. So when truck drivers went, and I was, 16, 17, and when truck drivers would come in the area, they would listen for me, and I'd start talking to them and stuff. Isn't that interesting? You did not know this.
Oh,
but
this is a joke?
This is not a joke. This is real. And I would get on my radio... And I would start talking, hey, this is the Blue Maverick. We got I'd always start talking to people, and these truck drivers would start talking back, and we talk about everything. And this is how you communicated to people if you wanted to communicate with strangers back in the day. Now, you have, I don't know what the apps are now, but you got your phone and everything like that. But back then, you could just click a button and talk to strangers on the radio. And if they had a CB, then they would listen to you and they'd start talking back and go, yeah, we got it. It's like talking is no different than talking to somebody on a walkie-talkie, but you just can reach lots and lots of people who had a CB in their car or at home or whatever. You get it?
Yeah.
Why do you look so confused?
I'm just wondering the point.
To communicate
With
with
strangers? For what?
Well,
What are you talking about?
today it's probably hard to understand why you would do that. But you know how...
Well, I love talking to strangers, but in person, I could never like think about calling up a stranger to be like, hey.
but think about all
how's
the
your
people
drive
who are
going?
meeting people online and stuff these days, right? It's scary, but nonetheless, it's real. And this is how people communicate now. You're always online. You're instant messaging people, DMing people, stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
You even meet people now online that you've never actually met in person before, but now you're DMing them.
Yeah.
Same thing. Back then, before social media or phones or any of that stuff existed, you could communicate that way. So people would have these things set up in their house. So back to frequency. He sets up his father's old CB radio and he starts talking. And he's like, all of a sudden something happens with the signals and they cross. It's almost a little bit like Back to the Future.
Okay.
Something happens in the signals. The camera goes up. You can even see up in the lines are kind of like, you see something's happening. And pretty soon he starts having the ability to communicate with his dead father.
Oh.
But not now. It's his dead father from 30 or 40 years ago or whatever it was.
Oh, he's a kid.
So he's communicating with his father from back during that time. And he's like, who is this? And the guy starts talking to him.
Oh, that's cool.
I got chills, right? It is such a good movie.
That's really cool.
And the whole thing plays out. And I'm not going to tell you how it ends,
Okay.
but the ending is phenomenal.
Okay. That is cool.
If you're listening to this right now, do yourself a favor and listen. Watch Frequency. Stream it. Buy. You should just buy it right now. It's so good. How come that's not in my top 5?
I don't know.
I should take one of these out. What would it be? Nothing.
Nothing.
I'm looking at them right now because I got Forrest Gump, Top Gun, Back to the Future, Goodfellas, Truman Show. That's all justifiable stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what else I wrote down here was a movie called Licorice Pizza, but not for the reasons.
Oh, yeah.
We were just talking about that before we started. But I don't know if that's a topic for another. I feel like that
Yeah,
might be
maybe another.
I think it's
another day.
Yeah, it is. To be
Another
clear,
story,
I don't want you
another day.
thinking that we're going to end this saying that Licorice Pizza is one of my favorite movies. It is not. And I will talk about why it is not and why I think it is awful. In another episode. All right. Thank you all for listening to the Jack Vale Show with Madysyn. I appreciate it.
As do I.
Yes, we as always we had a lot of fun here, and we'll see you next week. We'll see you later.
See ya.